Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description notes below the video where you will find links to all of my online shenanigans, including how to get my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, how to support me on Patreon, and how to get Watch Barbara Knit merchandise. Today we are going to talk about curling of stockinette and really how to maybe make it not curl. Now, I already have a video that goes fairly in depth as to why stockinette curls and talks about things, and I will definitely put a link in the description notes below to that video. But this video, although addressing the same subject, is coming at it a little bit differently and in a more practical way. I actually have little swatches to show you, which we will get to. But specifically, the most common solution to stockinette curling when you are dealing with the vertical edges. So we're talking about scarves and things that have the edges that are the beginning and the ending of the row. We are not talking about cast on bind off edges, but the vertical edges. The most common solution, and this is just from my observation, if you want to discuss, well, maybe I'm wrong, I am happy to do that, and you can do it in the comments. But you see is garter stitch edges. Putting a portion of garter stitch at the beginning and the end of the row helps stockinette lay flat. 100% that it does. It's just because instead of being all knit on one side and all purl on the other side like stockinette, garter is knit row, purl row, knit row, purl row, knit row, purl row, visually from the right side. I mean, flat, that's not how it's worked, but that is what you get, and that prevents frequently the stockinette in question from rolling. And it works great, and it's easy to knit. And I think that's why a lot of people, a lot of designers use it. A lot of people who are improvising use it. It's just really a great go-to. Bunches and bunches of people do it because it works great. But I wanted to give you a couple of options, and in total 3 options, of things that you can do to your selvage edge, which is what you call when you take and add multiple stitches on the beginning and the end of the row that are not the same as your center panel or what's in between them. Those extra stitches are called the selvage of the fabric that you are creating. And I wanted to give you a few selvage options that are outside of garter. I mean, if you're getting a little bored with garter, if you want to do something a little fancier, if you just want to knit something different, that is what this video is about. And I have made these little swatches to show you precisely what it looks like. And I will write out in words in the description notes where you can see exactly what I did as far as a stitch by stitch, knit, purl, knit, whatever in the description notes. And this, this is what we're talking about. This is the curly stockinette that is the bane of many knitters' existence. So let's go to the top down video so that you can see everything close up. Here we go. These are the swatches that I have made with the non-garter selvage edges so that we can compare them and y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. I have 3 options, but you'll notice there are 4 swatches, and that is because I made a control swatch. Since we're talking about curling, these are not blocked, and I thought it would be a good idea to make this one control swatch so that you can see what we're comparing it to. This is simply a stockinette swatch. I cast on, it's upside down. That is the bind off. So I cast on 20 stitches, and all of these are 20 stitches wide. And then I knit until I felt I had enough. Since we're only really looking at the vertical kind of situation here, these are not all the same like number of rows. I didn't really pay attention. It was, again, I'm like, I got the other one out. I'm like, that's close enough. Because really what we're looking at is the vertical selvage edges. Now, another thing I want to note is that I didn't do anything to the cast on and bind off edges to prevent curling, because that's a different story to be told at a different time. So these are definitely doing their thing, which is the thing of curling. As I said, the two different sides want to do different things and they don't cooperate. So as you can see, the top and the bottom are curling towards the face, the right side, if you will, because it is stockinette, and the edges, the vertical edges, are curling in towards the wrong side, and they have this bloop. So you can see what happens if you don't have anything here to try to address the rolling situation. Now I'm going to try. One of the ways, especially when people are like, do you think that will block out? The way I test that, when I'm working on something and I'm wondering, is this edge going to continue to curl after I blocked it, or is it going to go away with blocking? And what I do is I use either carpet, like if I'm just in the random place, and this is my fuzzy blocking mat, so it will serve as the carpet. I will lay out whatever it is I'm working on and like try to flatten it out, like with my fingers, right? See, and like trying to get this to pull out. This edge doesn't even want to come out. And then once I've gotten it flattened out, I let go and I see what it's going to do. And obviously right away, the top and the bottom pop back up. Now, this is starting to curl, but if I pick it up, it just, you can see, can you guys hear the airplane flying by? Because there's an airplane. We live right next to an airport, so nothing I can do about that. You see how aggressively that pops back? It doesn't want to stay down at all. This is not going to block out. This is just straight stockinette. It is not going to block out. There is like zero hope that a aggressive blocking is going to block this out, unless of course it was acrylic yarn and you use steam and heat and you completely kill it. That might do something, but it might not. So that's the stockinette control swatch. So the first non-garter edge I have for you is right here, and this is a seed stitch edging. And you can already see, and this is why we have the control swatch, you can already see how the two are behaving. So if you look at the vertical selvage, you can see this is doing this like curl. It's turning itself into its tube. And you can see here that the seed stitch, now you can really see it. Like this is trying to curl. This is the edge of the stockinette and it's trying to curl, but there's enough seed stitch, and this is 4 stitches on this side and 4 stitches on this side of selvage. And you can see that it's trying to curl, but this is weighing it down. This is not allowing to do it. Of course, the top and the bottom still doing its thing because I didn't try to stop it. But see? Look how nice that looks. So this is a seed stitch edging, and what it is on the 20 stitches, this is simply knit 20 on the right side, purl 20 on the left side. Left side. Knit 20 on the right side, purl 20 on the wrong side. This is knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Then you work your stockinette center, and then purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit one. So what I did is I reversed it so that the first and last stitch would be knit stitches, and the stitch closest to the stockinette would be a purl stitch, and that gives it a nice defined edge. Isn't that cool? And then when you turn it over to knit it, it is the exact same. It's knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, then purl across your center stitches, then purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one. And that is to maintain the seed stitch pattern. This is obviously the wrong side. We're talking about stockinette, so we've got reverse stockinette. So I didn't really try to do anything reversible with the selvage because this is not a reversible piece. But as you can see, it lays nice and flat, just right off the needles. It is unblocked, and I don't even have to like press it down. It's not going, if I pick it up, it stays. It's not trying, because if it were trying to roll, it would be trying to roll towards the wrong side, and it's not. It lays flat. So it has a different visual than a garter stitch selvage. Now, you could, in theory, you could reduce it to 3. And if you're doing like a larger or a tighter gauge, you might have to play with it and play with the width of this selvage so that there's enough of it to combat this panel's desire to curl. And that goes with all of these edges that we're working on. But I think it looks really nice. It definitely looks very different from your typical garter stitch edge. And the thing about a garter stitch edge is it compacts in this direction, so you have to block it and stretch it out, whereas seed stitch lays a lot flatter and has very similar, well, they both lay the same flatness, but it stays about the same size as like stockinette would. It's not contracting in like this. So that airplane sounds like it's going to land on my porch. It's a fun airplane day. So that is the seed stitch edge. I will put notes in the notes below the video where I'll write out what this is. Now, the next one, so that's the texture one. The next one is this one. Now, this one's a little more curly. As you can see, it's kind of doing similar things. Let's see. Here we're gonna, it's kind of doing similar things to our control swatch. It's curling under here, but it's not curling under on this edge. So it has to do with my personal tension. But if I pull this edge out and lay it down, just gently, you see it lays out. So I have every faith that these will block out with no problem with blocking. It's going to lay flat. I want to say block out. It will lay flat with blocking. Whereas if I take this guy, and you see how far under that curls. I try to lay him down. Like it starts curling under immediately. It doesn't stick like this does. Now what this is a cable edge. Now I know it's not particularly visible as a cable. You can see it's just a pretty decorative edge. I only did a 1/1 cable, so it's not like cable, but it makes a very nice edge in my opinion, because it's got this, you get over there, it's got this really interesting woogliness to it. You could definitely change it, because what this one is a 2-stitch cable leaning to the right, so it's going out and around the edge. And then there is a purl, a row of purls. So it's the 2-stitch cable, then a purl, and then you work the center panel, and then there's a purl, and then there's a 2-stitch cable but leaning to the left. So it's curling, so they're going around the edges, if that makes sense. I know that from here you can't see that purl, but if I flip it over, you can definitely see the purl row. So it's just, and on this side, it's just purl 2, knit in this column, purl all the way across, knit in this column, purl 2. So we have our cable. You see this guy wants to pop up a little bit. Again, blocking is going to. If you find that it is trying to flip up too much, all you have to do is make it bigger. So this only took up a 3-stitch selvage on each side, so a total of 6 selvage stitches. If you turned it into, say, a 2/2 cable with the purl column, then that would be a 10-stitch selvage because it would be 5 and 5. Or you could add another purl column. So if you only wanted to use up 4, then it would be the 1/1 cable purl 2, and that would give you a little bit more, because what we are looking to do is break up what I think of as the surface tension, and I know it's just what I think of in my brain, of the stockinette. The stockinette wants to curl under. The tension of the yarn wants it to curl under. But if we put something in that breaks that tension and kind of makes it relax, then you have something that is going to lay flat. With the seed stitch one, it's because this has this surface has an equal number of knits and purls on both the right and wrong sides. Stockinette, it's all knits on the right side, all purls on the wrong side. But if you have a 50-50 split on both sides, that again breaks that tension and allows it to lay flat. So pretty much any texture stitch that has that like 50-50 split is going to work for helping you block the curling. That is why people use ribbing on the top and bottom edges, because it's like 1-1 rib, 2-2 rib, and you know, even like if you go 3-2 rib, as long as you're going back and forth between knits and purls, it's gonna let it lie flat. So having that kind of texture is the one option. And here we're breaking the tension with the cable, because a lot more wiggle room and stuff when you work the cable. You're adding different amounts of yarn into the situation because it's just the nature of how it's done, and then that purl column is breaking it. So that is our second option. And again, you can make these cables bigger. I just like the look of this. You can definitely make these cables bigger, and it can just be like simply a scarf with the cable over the edge, purl column or 2, stockinette, purl column or 2, cable over the edge. That's an amazing scarf right there. You don't even really need a pattern. And it shows off, the plain stockinette really shows things off, but you are going to have to do something down here. Again, ribbing might work, because they're not going to. Obviously, this isn't trying to curl as much as this. This is helping a bit, but you're definitely going to need something at the top and the bottom. You could do seed stitch at the top and the bottom. You can do little, if you did like a series of little cables across the bottom, that might work. Who knows? That is what I do. That's why I do all this swatching. Now, the last one is actually probably the most common selvage I use when I am designing shawls, and that is an eyelet edging. Now, this really does need to be blocked because, as you can see, it desperately wants to curl up. And I would need to put something along the top and bottom, but you can see here that our vertical selvage is laying happy as a clam flat. If I flip it over, you can see it is almost wanting to turn to the front instead. And you can kind of see it better here. And what this is this is another 3-stitch selvage. So I'm 3, 3 equals 6. And this is knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit your body stitches, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1. And this is an eyelet selvage. When it's blocked, it'll be more evident. I can pull it out for you and you can see, let me show you, there is a column of yarn overs here. See that? And now these 2 stitches, because it is slip, slip, knit, knit 1, and then on the back, it's just knit 3, purl across the body, knit 3. This is an eyelet worked in garter. So it does have garter there, but the lace makes it so it's not plain and it looks different. One of the reasons that I use this on a lot of my scarves and shawls is this eyelet right at the edge is the perfect place to run a blocking wire. This makes blocking so much easier because you already know exactly where it is. You just weave your wire in and out of these yarn overs and you are ready to block. There's no trying to fuss with it. There's no trying to like, am I far enough away from the edge? Am I staying consistent? You just run it down those eyelets and you are absolutely good to go for blocking. So you're going to see this edging on the top of a lot of my shawls and my scarves. Now, the knit 2 together yarn over and then yarn over, slip, slip, knit, you see mostly on the scarves. In the shawls, frequently there's not a decrease because the yarn over is actually part of the shaping. But if you're not shaping on every single row, what will happen is you'll have a right side row where it's just knit 2 yarn over. But if we're not shaping on the next right side row, it would be knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, because we're not wanting to increase, but we want to maintain that eyelet edging. And you can see it lays down beautifully. It lays down just fine. It looks really nice, especially if you might be working on a more feminine piece, a scarf, or you want a nice feminine edge on something. That lace can be really nice. I really like it. The garter, you can always, if you find that this isn't enough to lay it flat, you can always add another stitch. So instead of knit 1, knit 2 together, it'd be knit 2, knit 2 together, and then into the yarn over. And I was thinking about the idea while I was doing this of actually if I did knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1. And then when I flipped it over, I again did knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, and then yarn over, slip. So if I did that edge on both sides, what we would be getting is a much lacier effect here. And I'm thinking about playing with that because that could be fun. All right, so those are our 3, let me see. Those are our three for you selvage edges that will help your stockinette lay flat, but they're not garter. Well, they're not plain garter. This one is technically garter, but they're not plain old garter. They're not the garter that you see all the time. It's a little something different, a little something fancier, a little something more fun that you can play with when you are working on things with vertical edges that you're worried that they are going to curl like this, because they are absolutely going to if you don't put edges on. I hope that at least one of those 3 options tickled your fancy. They're all different and they all have different applications. And again, depending on your particular gauge and the yarn you're using, you might have to fiddle with it, add a stitch, change a little bit of something there, but I hope it gave you a better and deeper understanding of how these selvage edges combat the curling of stockinette and you can maybe the next time you're making something, you could substitute. If it has the same number of stitches, just do something a little bit different, make it your own. Or if you're improvising, if you're making something up yourself, if you're, you could really and truly just cast on the number of stitches you want that get you about as wide as you want, have your selvage, and just knit away and make your own scarf that is a total one-off that's no one's ever seen before. I just want to encourage y'all, as always, to play with your knitting, because you're the boss of your knitting, and we can do lots of fun stuff. If you have any questions about what I've talked about, or if it's like giving you ideas that makes you be like, hey, I want to know what Barbara thinks about this idea of what she said, ask the questions in the comments or in the Facebook group, because those kinds of questions, I can either, if they're easy, answer them immediately in the comments, and if they're a little more complex, that gives me ideas for new videos, and those are pretty much my favorite kind of videos to make, because I know that at least one of you really wants that video. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.